So hi, if you're new here, my name is Juanma Hernandez. I'm the founder of UndocuStartup. We are the leading entrepreneurship program for undocumented students. If you want more information about UndocuStartup, visit www.undocustartup.com. Again, that's undocustartup.com. All right, with that being said, today we're going to be having an UndocuStartup yearly. Remember, this is a recap of the past 12 weeks. I consider 12 weeks one of my years, so just to remind you all, and this is my second episode, so let's just dive right into the lessons because these are some juicy ones.
Welcome to UndocuStartup by Juan Maya Hernandez.
Lesson number one is that productivity affects revenue by 4 times. In year one, my productivity level, because I track all my tasks, was 50%. In year two, it dropped down to 39%. And what I saw shows me that the more work that I do, the more I'm going to get paid. So my big question there is just how can I continue maintaining that level of commitment moving forward? Lesson number two is it's good to have clients in motion every quarter, every week, every year. Going into that quarter, I had one potential contract that I was really looking forward to, and that allowed me to have some peace of mind knowing that I was going to have a client within those next 3 months. And now, as I am going into year number 3, I have around 6, 7 potential clients in motion. So that kind of gives me peace of mind that at any moment I am able to land a client and a contract. So that's something that I am learning up to this point. Lesson number 3 is that experts are worth paying more money. If you tune into all my episodes, I recently decided to not renew the contract of my assistant, right? Given that there were certain expectations that weren't being met. So one of my biggest questions this time around was, is it necessary for me to have an assistant? Do I need somebody to help me? All right. But what I started just looking into but when I took a step back, I was like, if there's somebody that I do need for my events outside of the assistant, it's just somebody that can help me take photos, help me take better media, help me take a better video, just make it look more professional, because that's where we're trying to go towards. We're trying to increase the value of my images. And obviously, I had to make a decision, right? My assistant, I would pay her X amount of money. And then this media freelancer was probably more than 60% of what I would pay my assistant. Now, I did end up hiring this freelancer. It was a media person. He did an amazing job. And what I learned was that it was much easier to work with him because he already had the expertise of media. He already knew how to take a photo. He already knew how to use a DSLR camera, a professional camera. He had all his equipment. He showed up on time. And even though he was pricier, he's definitely worth it keeping long term because of the output and the value that he brings. He brings his expertise. He has a lot of experience and he's in within the community, right? So again, I think what I've learned here is that experts are worth paying for. I would pay any price to help me accelerate that stuff so that I don't have to specifically coach that person moving forward. Lesson number 4 is that you should focus on building trust by results in relationships. All right. I realized that within this past 12 weeks, a lot of the ways that people have gotten connected to me has been because of the collaborations that I've done with other organizations, with other groups, and my results really, right? I literally had a client wanting to work with me, and she was telling me the reason why I want to work with you is because you already have the results that we're looking for. You already have what we're looking for, right? And the only way for me to continue doing that is just to focus on deepening those relationships, to focus on the collaborations that I do moving forward, right? So what does that mean? So for me, it means if I'm going to be hosting an event, can I have other collaborators in there, right? Because that tends to add credibility. Lesson number 5 is to swim with the tide, not against it. All right. We know what has been happening in LA. We know what has been happening within the immigration climate recently, right? Because of President Trump. And it was actually a time where I was like, should I hold back? Some people may not want to work with me. Some of my contracts got canceled. And I started asking this question of, should I stop now or should I keep going, right? What can I start doing right now? So what I ended up doing was I just went in harder, right? I used the wave, in this case, the immigration climate, to continue spreading the word around positivity in terms of entrepreneurship within the Undocu community. And really, that's what led me to grow my audience during this time where a lot of people were not posting, where a lot of people were holding back, where a lot of people didn't want to be out there. I was still sending my emails. I was still posting on social media. And I found that instead of going against the tide, instead of playing devil's advocate, go with the tide, but spread a different message. And that's something that I found out that grew my marketing side of stuff. All right. Lesson number 6 is to be patient, but urgent. right? Patient in the business growth, patient in the fact that I'm putting all these pieces together and at any moment it can grow, right? Urgent in the day-to-day tasks. Is there something that I need to complete throughout the week? Can I complete it in a day? Right? Is there something that I've been putting off that I can use? 120 undocumented students, 6 different states, 1 day to launch your business. We started UndocuStartup in California, but we knew that our impact had to go in more than one state. So introducing the UndocuStartup Tour, we are bringing our flagship entrepreneurship bootcamp to 6 different states for the next few months.
$26 in investment.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and we also got 1 client.
Like last minute, I send messages to the people I know, and I just got sent 60.
Ooh. There's only 120 spots, so apply now at www.UndocuStartup.com/tour. Again, www.UndocuStartup.com/tour. And I'll see you on the other side. Use AI to help me accelerate these tasks. Right? So be patient in the business growth, patient that it'll eventually work out, but be urgent in the daily day-to-day tasks that are going to help me get there. Lesson number 7 is to lock in contracts for next year now. All right? Because I work with institutions, I work with universities, community colleges, I actually had a few clients actually tell me, hey, you know what, Juan, I'm really interested in this program, but I do want to push it into next year. I'm looking into starting this in spring of next year, 2026. And that made me realize that because some of these institutions and because my clients deal with budgets that they need to get approved, I also need to start having that mindset that even if I don't land a contract now, I want to have something for the next year. All right, I need to have something for the next year. And that actually kind of solves the problem. Remember, I mentioned that I don't have this predictable revenue. That's my biggest bottleneck right now. And maybe this is it. Maybe this is the way. So maybe moving forward, I should be focusing on for 2026, landing these programs for 2027, given that the budget cuts are going to be there. And I need to start having those conversations earlier. The earlier, the better it is, right? Because remember, I mentioned in one of my previous podcasts, I said, somebody told me no last year, and then they messaged me this year, and that was a result of me connecting with them in the previous year. All right. Lesson number 8 is to figure out the big 3 and then just focus on that. For me, my big 3 are to get people to know about is. So my big 3 are 1, to get people to know about us, 2, having the meetings to land those sales. Those are sales meetings. And 3, just the results from students. All right. Anything outside of that doesn't really matter. Get people to know about this. Obviously, that's the marketing. I need to continue posting this journey. I need to continue posting the wins of my students. And I need to just continue having these conversations with potential clients. That's the reason why I need to continue marketing. And remember, I've said that this is not a nonprofit. If I was building a nonprofit, it would be a different strategy. Right now, it is a for-profit company. Every single program that I run, I get paid for it, right? So I need to continue having those people, the right clients, the right partners, every single time. Lesson number 9 is to have templates, right? When I started doing my UndocuStartup Bootcamp Tour, which is a series of different bootcamps at other states as I'm expanding, building relationships there, I realized that I didn't have a specific flow. I didn't have a template for every single program. So that's what I started doing. Now, the result of not having this led to me canceling one of the programs because I didn't have enough students, didn't market it enough, but I need to have that. Every single event that I do, I need to focus on the marketing. Every single event that I do, I need to focus on reaching out. And what are those things in the business that I can automate, right? With AI, what are some of those things? What are some templates that I can create, right? So that's also really important. Anything that can be repeated, I need to have a template for it, right? Even if it's a Google Doc, it doesn't really matter. All right. Lesson number 10, if ready, you don't have to get ready. This one goes back to my UndocuStartup tour. Even though I didn't have a template, because I already knew the material, because this was my 8th boot camp, I don't have to practice 60 hours no more. If I can just practice once a day up until my next boot camp, I'm already ready and I'm ready to go, right? The same thing with my workshops, right? I got hired to do this workshop. I did it. I presented in front of 200 people, but the workshop material, I already had it from other programs that I've done in the past, right? Other workshops that I've gotten paid in the past. So it's about finding the recyclable material, right? Because what I'm doing is a workshop. What I'm doing is a boot camp. And it's about finding the recyclable material and then putting it together for a client. All right. So again, If I'm ready, if I have the templates, if I already have the different versions of things, I can just put them together and it makes things easier. Lesson number 11, right? Reach out to past clients. I had a few clients last year. I decided to email them. I said, hey, would you like to renew your contract? That led to 2 new conversations to have. 2 new conversations opened the doors to 2 other people. So that's a total of 4 people. And this is how it's going to spread, right? If the focus is on building the partnership and the focus is on being every single dream center and the focus is on providing the most valuable as possible, what's one thing that Target does when you buy from them, right? They send you stuff in the mail. All right, so it's my version of this. I started reaching out to my clients. I mentioned to them, hey, you know what? If you're interested this year, here are the other things that I can provide for you. Here are the things that have changed. And again, that led to new conversations. All right, so don't be afraid of reaching out to past clients. Even if you worked with them already in the past, some might respond. But even if one responds, that's another person that I already bought from you. And again, it gives me more peace of mind, the fact that I already worked with them in the past. All right, lesson number 12 is that you want to make your goal simple and low quantity to stay on track. What does this mean? Instead of having 5 goals, can you just break it down into 2 goals for the week, right? And that's the biggest difference between my year number 1 and this past year number 2, right? In year number 2, I had 5 goals every week. And year number 1, I only had 2 to 3 goals every week, right? What I realize is that the simpler you make it, the easier it is for you to hit your goals. Right. Lesson number 13 is that it's okay to be greedy. And I got this from the book, The 38 Letters of J.D. Rockefeller. He was actually the first billionaire. And in that book, and in that phrase, a quick synopsis of it, all he really means is that it's okay wanting more for yourself, right? If you're a mother, you want more for your son to be better. If you're a father, you want more for your career. You want more for your business, right? When you're in school and you get a good grade, you want more good grades. That's an example of being greedy. And there's really nothing wrong with that, right? Because at the end of the day, who do you have? You have yourself, right? At the end of the day, you're the only one that's going to save yourself. You're the only one that is going to reap the fruits of the labor that you put in, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. And let people say, right? I've had some people say that the business practices that I do are not ethical or whatever. It doesn't matter, right? They do not pay my bills. And the moment that they do, then I'll listen to them, right? But there's nothing wrong with being greedy. You should want more for your life, right? You should want more. I want more. I want a house, right? I want a better car. I want a bigger business, right? I want to make more impact, right? And don't let anybody make you feel bad about what you want, right? Don't let anybody make you feel bad for what you want. All right. Lesson number 14 is that the more you give, the more you get back. And sometimes it doesn't even come back in the same way. Sometimes it comes back in a different way. All right. I started getting more connections because of the free workshops that I did, right? Because of the free bootcamp that I did that I normally get paid for when I collaborate with the university, right? I started serving more students. And again, sometimes it doesn't come in the same shape or form. Sometimes it comes from another connection that they connected with, right? I had a student, literally one of my programs said, I'm connected to this organization. They're thinking of doing an entrepreneurship program. Can I contact you in that way? Cool, right? Again, result of what I did, right? Similarly, with the audience that I'm building, people are reaching out to me. They're asking me questions. Hey, can you help me with this? Right. Similarly, with other stuff that I'm doing online, people are starting to follow, people are starting to connect with me. They want to hear the story. I literally connected with this organization. I literally connected with this founder that had 40,000 users in this platform. Very similar in what I'm trying to do with UndocuStartup, but in a little bit different of an audience. And all these connections come from the result of everything that I've been given, right? The more I give to students, the more money I give, the more it comes back, right? So I want to continue this work. I need to continue doing this, right? Part of the profits that I make from my boot camps, part of the profits that I make from these programs when I collaborate with these universities, I use some of that money to create events. That's why I'm able to offer free stuff. It's not because I'm a nonprofit, it's because I also find it as a way to make it more accessible for people that may not go to these universities. Lesson number 15. It's okay to say no to clients that don't fit your goals. It's totally okay. All right. You get to decide whether this is going to be beneficial to you or not. I had a client that was going to pay me a fraction of what I get paid with other institutions, and I had to make the decision to tell them no. And don't feel bad about it, right? It just shows that you're at a different level. You're at a different standard. And if they can meet that standards, if they cannot meet that standard, then it's up to you to decide whether you want to work with that person or not. But just know that it's okay to say no if you're trying to get to a different place. And don't feel bad about it. Lesson number 16 is to not lose your momentum of what got you here. All right. That means that to not stop doing what you had been doing since day one. Show up every single day and show up even better. Right. I found myself that in this year, I wasn't sending the same amount of emails that I did last year. Why was that, right? Was it because of the climate? For whatever reason, I should have stopped doing that. I need to continue that momentum, right? I need to continue this cycle of posting content. I need to continue this cycle of doing the programs. I need to continue this cycle of marketing everything, right? Because that's the only way that is going to get me to my goals. And I need to continue to not lose that. And because momentum could be good momentum or bad momentum. The bad momentum could be I haven't hit my goals for the past 3 weeks. And now the fourth week is the same thing. But on the other side, if I have good momentum, I've been doing my task, I've been doing the boot camps, how can I continue to maintain that? Because that's what's going to continue. That's what's going to get me to my next goal. Lesson number 17 is to not drift because it does leak into other areas of your life, right? So drifting from the book Outwitting the Devil from Napoleon Hill is this process of you going into any addiction, going into a bad habit that eventually compounds over and over and over, right? Now, what I found is that through one of my addictions, it led to bad health. And then bad health led me to not being able to work. All right. So one of my addictions, eating a lot of junk food, led me to mess up on my health, going to the hospital, getting injured, and that prevented me from not being able to work for a certain time. Right. And that's important. Right. That's important to understand. Right. So biggest lesson here is instead of developing negative habits, try to develop positive habits and then have those positive habits compound throughout your business, right? The same thing with me, right? If I'm doing something great and I'm landing these big contracts, can I just continue doing that? And how can I continue doing that? All right. So those are all the 17, 15, 16, the 17 lessons. So let me just repeat them before I let you all go for today. First one, productivity affects revenue by 4x. Number 2, have clients in motion every year, every week. Number 3, experts are worth paying for. Okay. Build trust by focusing on results and relationships. Number 5, swim with the tide, not against it. Number 6, be patient but urgent. Number 7, lock in contracts for next year now. Number 8, figure out your big 3 and focus on that only. Number 9, templates. Number 10, if you're ready, you don't have to get ready. Number 11, reach out to past clients. Number 12, make goals so simple and low quantity to stay on track. Number 13, it's okay to be greedy. Number 14, the more you give equals the more you get back. Number 15, it's okay to say no to clients that don't fit your goals. Number 16, don't lose your momentum of what got you here today. Number 17, don't drift because it leaks in other areas of your life. So with that being said, everyone, just to close this off, here are some of the questions that I am asking for year number 3, which I am doing right now already. Question number 1, what happens if I go for my goal in the next 3 months? The new goal that I have, what happens? All right. Number 2, second question is, can I increase my productivity by 2x? And does it lead to more revenue? We'll find out right now. Number 3, what must I give up to get to my next goal? Number 4, how do I continue building credibility with the help of others? Number 5, how many clients make an appointment because of my new lead magnet, the one that I'm doing right now? Number 6, can this business operate at 20% of my profit? Or do I need to increase the amount of money that I put into the operations bucket of my business finance? And number 7, how do I collaborate with new clients and create new partnerships without cold emailing them? Those are the biggest questions that I'm asking for year number 3. I hope you found this helpful. And remember, if you're an undocumented student ally at any university nationwide and you want to bring entrepreneurship to your campus for your undocumented students, visit www.UndocuStartup.com. Again, that's UndocuStartup.com. And remember, be motivated and stay motivated, baby. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Also, what do you guys think of the phrases? They look really clean now. See y'all. See y'all.
Welcome to UndocuStartup by Juan Maya Hernandez.